In the opening of critic-turned-filmmaker Kleber Mendonça Filho's The Secret Agent, he welcomes us to Brazil of 1977 with a title card that announces such a place as a time of great mischief. These words are placed over a desolate roadside landscape, a vast, empty space backed up to some fields, where we can only see a rundown gas station with a corpse lying in its parking lot, covered in cardboard, and a man pulling into the station in his yellow VW Beetle. The solitary man in the car is bewildered by seeing this rotting corpse just casually sitting in the middle of the road. But the sweat-covered station owner runs out to stop him and tell him everything's okay, that it happened a few days ago and they informed the police, but they haven't been able to come yet because it is Carnival Week in Recife. Shortly thereafter, a pair of federal agents arrive at the scene and begin interrogating this man in the Beetle under the pretext that they're just inspecting his vehicle. Both patrolmen displaying an almost absurd disregard towards the decomposing body lying a few feet away from them. With this, Mendonça Filho is pretty blatantly drawing from the visual and narrative conventions of the Western genre. But The Secret Agent soon reveals that it is neither a Western, nor, as its title may suggest to some, a spy espionage film, as these introductory moments, as all great film openings do, immediately establishes the narrative and aesthetic tone the film is adopting, while also implanting in the viewer's mind the kind of formal playfulness that will run rampant, and the many narrative and aesthetic detours Mendonça Filho will be taking throughout this sprawling 160-minute film. As we soon come to learn, that man occupying the yellow Beetle is named Marcelo, or as we later come to know him by his real name, Armando, played by Wagner Moura in a very worthy Best Actor winning performance at Cannes this year, who is in trouble with the authorities and is on his way back to Recife. He is covertly returning to his hometown to retrieve his son and together escape the country. When he arrives back in town, though, he hides out in a massive compound filled to the brim with political refugees and outcasts from many different backgrounds. We see in this particular space, and really across Mendonça Filho's entire work, that he is always meticulously painting a vast, diverse canvas of urban life, with its array of colors, symbols, textures, and people that aren't just mere set dressing to him. Myself, along with, I think, many others stateside, was first introduced to Mendonça Filho's work with his 2019 film Bacurau, which then led me to explore his back catalog, with his great first feature, Neighboring Sounds, and his 2016 Sonia Braga starring film, Aquarius. All of these films graft a palpable and contagious love for his native Recife and its people and places, but these are also films coursing with a deeply felt anger. In The Secret Agent's case, it's a fury directed at a period of military dictatorship, where the imprisonment, torture, and murder of all dissidents was a casual and regular occurrence. But refreshingly, The Secret Agent zeroes in on the absurdities of a life lived under authoritarian oppression. What it's like living within the systemic rot, the constant repression and encroachment on civil life. But it does so with a humor and lightness, these thrills and suspense. For instance, one of Mendonça Filho's many detours is the discovery of a man's leg inside of a shark's stomach, the remains of which belong to a victim of the state's political violence that just so happened to find its way back to shore. It's a bit of commentary on the atrocities that the state can so casually get away with, packaged inside of a fun little urban legend that Mendonça Filho can use as a vessel to unreservedly express his admiration for Jaws and then genre cinema as a whole. He's using the grammar of genre filmmaking, the stylings of the 70s filmmakers he adores, Spielberg and De Palma to name a couple, to confront us with these harsh political realities, and it's quite simply electric to experience. It just goes to show that for a film to really work as an effective piece of social commentary, there shouldn't be an obvious attempt at educating the viewer, as that kind of prescriptiveness can only reach a certain point, until we're left feeling unsatisfied. But the way Mendonça Filho bakes these social and political ideas into these very playful genre elements ensures that his film works, first, as a thrilling piece of cinema. The Secret Agent is divided into 3 chapters, and after the conclusion of its first chapter, a framing device is introduced, and the narrative then jumps from the past to the present day. We then see that what we initially perceived as Marcelo and/or Armando's story is actually something of a reconstruction, pulled from incomplete sources and in the wrong order, as we see a pair of young women digitize and catalog a series of audio recordings made from interviews with members of the anti-fascist resistance. We begin to see these gaps, pieces of his story missing from the recordings and from the film itself. We are viewing a past, one that is very brittle, listening into a collective memory built out of those of an entire nation that has slowly eroded and been forgotten over time. These imperfections have now just become a part of the retelling, and is what many are left with to now study and investigate these overlooked narratives. The film's structure, its pacing, reflects that very idea, and its deliberate rhythm, its many temporal and spatial digressions. These ideas also stem from the fact that Mendonça Filho's mother was a historian, and without a doubt her teachings have left a massive imprint on this film. And because of that, The Secret Agent feels like it's the perfect amalgam of the Kleber Mendonça Filho we know as a cinephile and a film critic, and him as a filmmaker. His simultaneous affection for and nonconformity to genre conventions, the way it feels like in the third act that he's beginning to build towards an imminent bloody climax, but it never arrives. The way he observes the mechanisms of collective memory, both past and present, that ask the viewer to think more deeply about not just what's on screen, but what is absent. His picaresque structure that allows him to have an array of richly textured period detail, of colorful personalities and performances, of political and social dynamics within Brazilian society. This is a film that is willfully inviting the viewer to get lost in it, and is also entirely unafraid of getting lost itself. And that it packs so much movie into its runtime, you'd think there's just no way everything is going to come together. The jumble of genre influences, its pretty shaggy construction, and those tricky shifts in time and space aren't out to turn this film into a puzzle. They're embedding you into what it's like to piece together a history that would otherwise be erased and lost to time. And the magnificent Wagner Moura and the vast ensemble of characters around him navigate us through it. To return to the film's opening title card, great mischief is just running throughout The Secret Agent, and it's a joy to watch a film that explodes on screen like this. It's a city symphony for Recife, an ode to a nation's collective memory, a reminder why so many were traumatized by Jaws, and the only film with oral sex in a movie theater while The Omen is playing. It's a film that exists at the intersection of escapist entertainment and the cruelty of reality, a space that Kleber Mendonça Filho occupies better than just about anyone else out there. But most of all, it's a film for the people that love cinema.